Joystick Frequency. It's a video game podcast that doubles as a book club where you're a member just by listening in. I'm your host, Trent. Joining me are my two hosts, Brady.
Oh, hi, that's me. Yes, I am Brady.
And Burr Walker.
Voted Best Walker of the Year 2024.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
Shit,
somehow beat out the Texas Ranger. Don't know how. Probably irrelevance.
Shit, I voted for him.
Oh.
Yikes. Welcome to the Joystick Frequency, guys. And if you're here, you're probably a normal listener because you know for a fact that this is our Game of the Year discussion / ranking.
Woot, woot, fucking woot. Let's go, guys.
Game of the Year.
2024 was a hell of a year for games. It was a hell of a year for us. And my God, are we happy it's over with. And hopefully 2025 is better anyway.
Jesus, please.
We've been saying the same thing since 17, 16, who knows. But either way, we still did have some pretty incredible games this year, and we will get into that whenever we start. But first off, I guess tell me what y'all been doing in the week since we recorded last, guys. How y'all been?
I took a piss and stretched, and that is literally everything.
You're breaking the immersion. What are you doing?
I do not understand what you're talking about.
I got one of my crowns replaced this week.
Oh.
Not a fun process.
Damn.
Actually, was it replaced? They just took the temporary off and put the permanent one on. But they had to, break it with a drill, so that was fun.
That sounds like a joy.
So if you can't catch it from what we just discussed, we're recording the podcast right after we just recorded the winter one.
What?
We have someone going out of town soon, so we had to make sure we could get them all into one night recording. So here we are. So if we sound a little already ramped up, a little too excited already, that's why.
I'm
We're
skedaddling.
out of sugar.
I'm skedaddling. I got to plan a wedding. And that is intensive, believe it or not.
Yeah, and I guess since he's got a skedaddle, I guess the only way to start off a Goaty countdown is with number 10. And
Mr. Fiance.
I'm going to decide. Brady, you're going to go first for this
I'm going to go first.
Oh, fancy.
My number 10 game of the year, drumroll, is Black Myth Wukong.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah.
Damn,
yeah.
Okay.
It was a fun game the little bit I got to play of it before I wasn't good enough to keep playing it.
Got skill issues.
I needed to get good and I did not, so I did not.
So here's the thing. I think you could, because I somehow have managed to beat a couple of these games now, and I am dog shit at them. I think you'll be okay.
When I say I can't, what I mean is I hit a wall and elected that the game was not giving me enough enjoyment that I wanted to smash my face in this wall enough times to beat it. I could have played the game. I have no doubt that given enough time and repetition, I could go through it.
Okay.
I play video games to be less stressed, not more stressed.
Okay.
He almost said that he could beat the game, then he stopped himself and said, I could play the game.
I know my limits.
Well, alright. Well,
yeah.
I'm glad to hear that you did like what you did play, though.
But it was a fun game. I love the lore of Wukong, just general, the actual mythology of it. So it's fun to see. It's always fun to see Wukong stuff. Any Wukong media, I'm in.
Big Dragon Ball fan?
What's that?
Oh. Anyway, my number 10. Yeah, I guess if we are swapping, if I'm not cutting you short there.
No, you're good.
My number 10 is Palworld. It technically came out this year. Took over my life for all of 15 hours, and then flew off into a wonderful ether for me. It was a fantastic 15 hours.
We can talk about it later.
Yeah,
okay,
we can talk
sounds
about
good.
It later.
Okay.
Trent, since we can't talk about Palworld, what's your number 10?
All right. So my number 10 is Chained Together. I don't know if either of you have this on your list
Let me verify. It is not. But purely probably because we haven't finished it yet.
I played it
this
once
game's
for
on my
3
list.
hours.
Yeah.
I saw a PowerPoint of it for 3 hours.
So this game is on my list because I love playing games with my friends, and so my top 10 list will always have at least one game that I can play with my friends on it. One of the games on that list is this Chain Together because we played it with us three as well as our friend Nathan. And the best part is it felt like we were playing the game, and then Brady was trying to play it on a Nokia phone from back in freaking 1989.
The fun thing is the exaggeration is from a laptop from 2012. Like, that's the actual thing. So a Nokia from 1999 isn't that far off.
And as he described it, how are you saying it again, Brady?
It was a powerful. I was getting 2 frames per second. Maybe. It was so bad.
With a game like Chain Together, you're chained together.
It's a platformer.
With your friends. It's a platformer where you're chained together and you have to pull your allies along. So if someone falls off, it increases.
Everybody falls off.
Not always. It increases the chances of the next person falling off and then the next person. And since you're all connected in a chain, all four, eventually you just start looking like a giant centipede that's just like hanging on for its dear life on the ledge of something, while you're trying to platform and climb up this giant, essentially set of assets. If you ever saw the game Going Up, that's what this is. Or another good example of a 2D version would be Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. It's just there's objects for you to stand on because that's the objects they could get. There's no real sense to it. They kind of get like each world is like a little themey. Like you start off in hell, so like it's a bunch of molten rocks and like skull and bones and stuff like that. And you slowly get higher to where now it's a cityscape, but it's still just like a bunch of like it's literally if you googled cityscape assets, all these would pop up and you just place them and have us try and jump up and complete it. We never even made it out of hell because, again, Brady was playing on a freaking trash compactor.
Yeah.
But that did make the experience very enjoyable, I will say.
I wonder if the game would be as fun if I wasn't dying the whole time.
Definitely, because we'd be making progress. We'd still be dying, but we'd at least not get stuck in the part that we got stuck at.
We get part of the way there. All right, so I believe after 10 comes 9, and my number 9 game of the year is Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Yo, it's this low? Oh no.
It is. Here's the thing. If I had not played the earlier Dragon Age games, I would have different problems with this game. My biggest gripes are that it doesn't feel like a Dragon Age game. It feels like, honestly, more Devil May Cry, like hack and slash.
Oh, interesting. Bold take
like,
for an RPG, if I'm being honest.
It went from like the first Dragon Age was like semi-turn based. You like pause time, select what abilities you wanted, like lots of abilities for each character. And as they go on, they got more and more real time. But even Inquisition had a pause mode and like at minimum 8 different abilities you could key map at any time. And then Dragon Age Veilguard goes into there's a button to attack, another button for a heavy attack, and then you have 4 abilities. It's like, or like it's just so simplified, and it's smooth and it's a fun combat system, but it's not a Dragon Age combat system to me. It felt like it was written by committee as well, like just the most bland, not offensive milk toast characters.
That's painful to hear.
Like there were some interesting bits, and again, my review right now is more scathing because you always remember the worst parts, right?
All right.
With as long as it's been since I played, but there was enough to keep me entertained for 20, 30 hours.
Well, that speaks enough.
But that's
truth
really
to it.
good.
Like,
A lot of that was really leaning on nostalgia, but at a point I just got bored and didn't feel like grinding through the rest of the game just because it was very repetitive gameplay for not as good a story.
oof.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the last thing you want to hear about, a Game of the Year contender, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially one that you've been waiting on for what? When did Inquisition come out? 2012?
I think 14.
Well,
Yeah.
I am sorry for your loss, and
That's
I
all
will
right.
keep my fingers crossed.
As we go up the list, I'll get more excited.
Okay, good. I'm gonna upset some people here. I am purely being petty. I am sticking in 9th place. Shadow of the Erd Tree, the DLC for Elden Ring.
Don't even talk about it then. Fuck me.
Did it rank on yours? Okay. We will talk later.
What do you mean, did it rank on mine? Fuck you.
Look. Somebody's finished it and somebody hasn't. That's all I'm saying.
Is it number 1, Trent? No, don't tell us. Don't
leave
tell
us in suspense.
We'll make fun of you later.
I will go ahead and say here that if I wasn't being petty, this would likely be my number 3 of the year. But because of that technicality, like I mentioned last episode, there's a little voice in the back of my head saying I need to rank it lower because I want to give some other games a spotlight, and Elden Ring has had its time in the sun. Granted,
Look, one spot down for every other game doesn't make up for the pettiness that you're showing Elden Ring of dropping down 6.
We'll talk about it.
We'll fight.
We'll fight about it.
Bingo brawl me.
What's your number 9?
Oh, it is me. My bad. Yeah, so my number 9 is a sequel.
Ooh.
And it's a game that I don't know. Brady hasn't played this one with me yet, but he did play the original with me as well as our friend Nathan. It's going to be Smite 2, and it's technically in alpha/early access, but it's been out since April with enough time to get gameplay in that I feel like it warrants getting ranked on this list.
Okay, well.
And especially because the amount of fun I've had with it, it definitely looks a lot better. Like, it's so gorgeous compared to Smite 1. And it's fun to play with. Like, it's always fun to play at the start of a game because you don't have the super sweats or the people that know the meta, know exactly how to build everything. Even going from Smite 1 to Smite 2, it didn't feel like, oh, I'm just playing Smite 1 against a bunch of people that have been playing it for years. Or whenever I play it, maybe once every 3 months or something like that. It definitely felt like, everything's OP, so everyone has fun because everything's OP. I was playing a lot of dual lane with my friend he would alternate between either support or jungle, and would often come to my lane, and we would absolutely smack some kids just because we're talking on the voice channel and able to communicate, which is a key feature that they haven't added yet. There's no text chat. As far as I know, they may have added it recently, but there's no text chat. The only thing they have is they have their little system where you press a series of buttons and your character will say a certain, like, simplified phrase, like defend right lane or something like that. But yeah, I've had some fun with it. If you're Liam listening to this, no, I'm not playing with you. I cannot be screamed at for 25 minutes to an hour. I will break down and cry.
My question to you, because I haven't played Smite really all that much, or really any other MOBA. Do you feel like the differences between Smite 1 and Smite 2 justify the sequel status?
I would say yes. Just like the graphics update is like so much better, as well as from the way they've explained it, they're able to simplify the code a lot, make it more optimized to where it runs better as well.
Yeah, I can attest to the fact that Smite 1 is spaghettified at this point, as far as code goes. Some of the later stuff, they'd make an update, and then
Everything would be broken.
everything would be broken.
It would take 2 weeks to fix it.
Oof.
Yeah, they needed to reset.
Yeah, and I feel like they did a pretty good job on this. If I had to stick my life on it, I wouldn't, but I know someone who would. So, if you really need that much sway, maybe we'll get Nathan on here on the podcast at one point and we'll just bring it up because he's a fiend.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was genuinely just curious. I didn't realize that it was such like an overhaul was needed for it, but that's fantastic that they had the opportunity to go ahead and like proceed with that. 'Cause I understand that can be a massive undertaking.
All right. My number 8 game.
Ooh.
We might need to talk about later because it's Palworld.
Yep.
Ah. Okay. I don't feel so bad putting it at number 10 then if it landed at number 8 for another. There were some good games this year. Oh, shit, speaking of which, I will go ahead and mention that my number 8 is a little indie game that came out about midway through the year. I'm not sure if either of y'all played it. Have y'all played Thank Goodness You're Here?
No.
Holy shit.
I don't know what that phrase means. Never heard.
This game is fucking phenomenal. It's peak British humor. You are basically enlisted. You are a little lad who doesn't say a single word. You're enlisted to go to a town and solve their problems, which is the most like generic thing ever. And the game starts with you walking, like you're in your boss's office as you're being assigned like this random town. And you walk up, you kick your way out of the window, and you jump down, and the game starts like that.
Wait, what?
You kick your way out of the window, and you proceed through the game. Your main function of interacting through this game is kicking shit. That's everything. It's people, it's birds, it is it's just anything and everything. And the whole thing is just set up like a British sitcom, and it's phenomenal. Everyone's got one-liners. There's tons of comedy like throughout the background, and the only reason that this game and the next game are rated where they are is because I actually haven't finished them yet. They're fairly short experiences, but I have not gotten around to finishing them, and I can't justify rating them higher because of that. Y'all need to play this game, or we all need to get together and play this game because it's fucking hilarious. All right, Trent, what's your number 8?
So first off, I just want to make a joke. British humor in 1980, kicking a bucket over. British humor in 2024, kicking a bucket over.
And hey, you know what? Peak.
It works.
Anyway, my number 8 is actually I'm cheating a bit again. I have a tie here because like they're two games that are fairly similar that give the same feel. I talked about them last week actually. They're Buckshot Roulette and Liar's Bar.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, they're both games that are based on like at least some form of Russian roulette, where you have to either shoot yourself or shoot your opponent, depending on what's happening. Buckshot Roulette being one where you get items to try and basically smart your opponents and be able to kill them before they kill you, kind of thing. You know how many blanks and how many live bullets are in the gun, but you don't know where they are. The bullets are shuffled. So you use your items to get information on the bullets in the gun so that you know whether or not, hey, this is a live bullet so I can shoot my friend with it, or hey, this is a blank bullet so I can shoot myself and get another turn. Liar's Bar being slightly different. It's not a game where you're trying to outsmart your... Well, I guess in a sense you're trying to outsmart your opponents, but you're also trying to outsmart them by lying to them, essentially. You're trying to bluff your way to victory in that one. With different game modes where you're sitting there trying to play kings, queens, or aces, and have someone either call you whenever you're not call you whenever you're lying, or call you whenever you're telling the truth, so that they'll either shoot themselves if they're wrong, or you'll shoot yourself if you're wrong. And yeah, they're very similar games, and I had a lot of fun. Didn't get to play with all the people I wanted to play this game with, but I'm looking forward to playing it in the future. And they were super cheap too on Steam, so
Neat.
enjoyed these.
My number 7 game
Mm-hmm.
is Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden.
Oh my god, I forgot this came out this year.
Yeah, so you play as a pair of ghost hunters sailing from the old world to colonial America. You encounter a ghost. You play as a black woman and a white guy, a Scottish guy. I can't remember where the lady's from, but the lady gets killed very like by a ghost, like scene 1 of the game, and you play as the Scottish dude who is haunted by his ghost hunter um, wife girlfriend. And basically, you go through colonial New England in the winter, banishing ghosts, and either like setting their spirits free or doing kind of awful things, taking their souls and absorbing their power to bring your dead wife back to life. It's a fun game where you shoot ghosts with muskets and also meditate on death and moving on. Really emotional story.
Damn. Okay. This
That's
is. Go ahead.
that's a game I was excited for whenever they showed the trailer for it last year at the Game Awards, and like it came out with hardly any. I was going to say like commercialization or
Oh,
there
yeah.
was no
No
notice or anything
advertising.
about it. Yeah,
Marketing.
advertising. Yeah, no marketing behind it, and so whenever it came out, I was like, I didn't even know about it until Brady brought it to the podcast. I'm like, oh yeah, I should really play that, and just
You should.
again, I just forgot about it because again there was no marketing for it. That's a game I will have to like put on the list because I want to play that game someday.
What systems is it on? Do you know off the top of your head?
I know it's at least on PlayStation.
Okay. Well, sweet. That is one I'm absolutely going to want to check out at some point here in the near future. And just purely because you mentioned a Scottish man, I am going to give an honorable mention about a game that I forgot that I played this year. It was actually really good before jumping into my number 7. Still Wakes the Deep is phenomenal. It's a really short experience, but you take the role as a Scottish man working on an oil rig out in the middle of the ocean, as eldritch shit just starts kicking off. It's really really cool. There's some really fun like horror segments. Good game. Just thought it was worth mentioning.
I'm gonna have to play that one too because I played Dredge earlier this year, and it feels very very similar game. Maybe not gameplay wise, but
Aesthetic.
feel and aesthetic. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit more slow burny, and it's in like a first person's perspective. But again, high recommendations. My actual number 7 is a game that I mentioned last week that I am currently in the process of playing called Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. I love me a game that makes me break out a notepad to try to figure it out. And this is absolutely one of those. Super fun puzzler, harkens back to a lot of the old like point and click style, not adventure games per se, but like mystery games. And it's just been a blast. It's really been a blast. I love the aesthetic. I love the whole mystery surrounding it. And another one that could potentially rank higher up on my list, but I'm only halfway through it. I have not finished it yet. But it's very good. Would highly recommend. And I'll let you all know when I do finish it what my final thoughts are.
My number 7 is a game that came out not too recently. I also talked about it last week. Is Marvel Rivals. The reason this one's so low is just because I have not had enough time to play it, and it just came out so late in the year, so I'm unable to judge it any higher, I feel. But it captures that Overwatch feel with characters that I know from the start instead of having to go and learn about. And so it's a blast to play, and I hope to play more of it this year.
Marvel is really a good like that superhero setting is really good for hero shooters. Like it's there in the fucking name.
Yeah.
Honestly, a great merging of concepts.
I can't like just you put Marvel's name on almost anything, and I'm probably in. I haven't caught up with most of the things after Endgame just because it was a hell of a way to end a saga. But like, I'm always okay with them trying new things with Marvel. So,
right. My number 6 game of this year is Harry Potter Quidditch Champions.
Wait, what?
Yeah. This is a fantastic little game that came out this summer. It's basically FIFA for Quidditch. You play first at Hogwarts, then at the Triwizard Tournament, then at the Quidditch World Cup. And it's a very clean, very intuitive as far as like the controls go and the way the physics work, and just a solid competitive game experience out of Quidditch.
Huh.
You get to decorate in all sorts of outfits. I mean, it's not a super long game. It's the games are like 5 minutes total for a match, 5 to 15 minutes for a match. But it's just a fun, quick little game. And if you like Harry Potter, which I do, you get to play as Ravenclaw, the best house.
Are you able to pick your house, or are you subjected to Ravenclaw?
Yeah, you get to choose whichever house you want, as long as it's should be Ravenclaw. And again, it's not like there's not a story per se. You just kind of launch in. You can make custom characters if you want, but you kind of just pop in to a game and dress your characters however you want and go.
Sick.
Choose
Okay.
what team you want to be. Play some Quidditch.
Is there a multiplayer
First
aspect
off-
at all, or is it all?
Yes, it is multiplayer.
Oh.
So you could like have full online games of 5v5. 6v6.
Again, this is one that our friend Nathan played a shit ton of, and we'd have to get him in here if we wanted to talk about the PvP aspect of it.
Did he get into the PvP?
Yeah, I did
side?
not play a ton of PvP. I played a little, not a ton.
He hit the PvP hard and then full stops at some point. So,
Sounds about right.
but I also want to address a couple things. First off, I'm very surprised that you're a Ravenclaw. We probably had this conversation at some point. I'm very surprised you're a Ravenclaw, not a Slytherin. But second best house, but all right, Slytherin, number 1.
I think you'll find that Hufflepuffs are quite lovely people.
Hufflepuffs are number
You aren't
2.
even in the conversation, bud.
Hufflepuffs are number 2, my guy.
Uh,
Slytherin's number 3. Sorry,
Wow.
but evil is only slightly better as a personality trait than good is.
I think we're all in agreement,
Which
though,
is
that
why
Gryffindor
Gryffindor
sucks ass, though. Yeah?
Gryffindor sucks balls.
Okay, great.
And I am only saying that because they beat me up, because they're a bunch of jock bullies. Anyway,
Slytherin doesn't mean evil. Just mean evil. It also means ambition and cunning. So,
cool.
No, I know.
2 things
But-
that also suck.
wow. All right, Brady's coming at me now. He's not just coming at my house. He's coming at me now.
Oh boy, I didn't
Anyway,
think we were
Walker, going to your number 6 before I square up.
Did not think Harry Potter Fist Fight was going to be on our Game of the Year, but you know.
Surprised it wasn't last year with Hogwarts Legacy.
Honestly, yeah. All right, Walker, what's your number 6?
Number 6 is a good one. Played it early on this year. We're looking at Another Crab's Treasure. My list this year is filled with indie games. I had a really, really good spree of a bunch of smaller titles. And Another Crab's Treasure was a great way to kick off the year. It had another Souls-like game, but it had heavy emphasis on obviously using your shell since you're a crab. So highly defensive throughout most of the game, but you're also encouraged to switch out your shells quite often because they all have different abilities and things that come with them. You can get powered up really, really quickly in this game. You go from having really hard fights to just absolutely... I decimated the final couple of fights in this game without any real hassle whatsoever. And that was not because I'd used the built into the game one-shot gun that you can attach to your shell at any given point, but instead just because I was engaging with the mechanics that were given to you. You can turn your shell, like your little fork, you can stab it into your shell and use your shell as like a really powerful hammer that I used a lot throughout the game. Super fun. It's got a great sense of comedy. The whole like story is you're a crab who's or hermit crab, whose shell was stolen by the tax collectors, and you need to try to get it back. And in doing so, you find yourself following a treasure map on the back of a cereal box to try to, like, solve the fact that your entire town is being consumed by macroplastics. It's genuinely really, really good.
Honestly, we got to tie Brady to a chair and force him to play this game on the gun mode, at least.
I do think you would enjoy this one, Brady. It is not super difficult. But, again, that requires you playing a Souls game, so who knows?
All right, Trent, what's your number 6?
Hey, I will say Brady did play Elden Ring last year.
I did.
That's fair. That is fair.
He never beat the tree sentinels, but...
That's okay.
I never beat a lot of bosses in that game, so...
all right, so my number 6 is a game that, Walker, you played, and so I'm not sure if it will be on your list or not. But it's Pokemon Pocket.
Oh, interesting. Okay, not on my list. Feel free to talk.
Okay, yeah. I'm not a big mobile guy, but I am a big Pokemon guy. So Pokemon released their trading card game on mobile, and it's allowed me to capture a huge bit of nostalgia. My collection fixed, simplified the battling of the regular TCGs so that you're able to get in and out of matches quicker, as well as not having to have as many cards to build a deck. It's a really good stepping stone for going from this to the regular TCG for the younger folks, but for people who don't have time to TCG, who work too much, this is a good little thing to wake up to. I wake up, I can open 2 packs, I go to bed, and I can open another pack and just collect cards that a lot of them sharing some of the art of cards I've collected in the past already and still have in my game room right now. So it's very enjoyable, and like I look forward to like whenever I hear the sound, I always get excited. Like, oh, time to open another pack. Let's go. So yeah, really good game. I'm happy that they went on this and didn't. I would have preferred it a couple of years ago, but
hey, no time like the present, right?
No time like the present. My number 5 game, Star Wars Outlaws. I don't know if anybody else played that this year, but it was a really big game that came out.
You know what? I heard it wasn't as bad as people were really claiming it to be initially.
I think I was the one that told you that. Because it isn't as bad as people were saying it is. Granted, it is the standard Ubisoft formula. But if you're someone like me who has fun playing games made out of that formula, it's aesthetically very cool to do it in Star Wars. And the story isn't breaking any records, but it's a good story. Fun characters. You have a lovely little axolotl pet.
Oh.
And you get to shoot stormtroopers. And that's enough to get it to number 5 for me.
My number 5, I am going to go with yet another indie game that I played relatively recently. Crow Country came out earlier this year. This is a top-down tank control style horror game that came out with... It had a little bit of hype behind it, but I'm really happy I played it when I did. I played it just after I finished playing through Resident Evil 4 remake, so I was fresh off of the survival horror fix. And this was really cool. They did an incredible job capturing this old PlayStation style of imagery while having a really well-written story and a bunch of really fun characters throughout, while still being creepy and horrifying in portions. You are a character who is diving into this old abandoned theme park called Crow Country to investigate. And the story kind of unravels as you dig through. It's filled with a bunch of the classic style resi puzzles and some really interesting combat that encourages you to, conserve your ammo as you're moving through, aim for headshots even if the thing is scary and moving quickly at you. Fun game, would highly recommend.
All right. Going into my number 5. If I had to give this game a rating, it'd probably be about 7 out of 10 for too much water. Because it is actually Pokemon Emerald Legacy, the ROM hack made by the YouTube channel Smith Plays Pokemon.
Nice,
if you don't know about
okay.
him, you should check him out. This is the third of... actually, hang on. Before I go, Brady, this isn't on your list, right? Okay. I have to say that this is the third ROM hack that he's done where he's made, his words, in quotes, the game better. And I have to say, from what I've played of Emerald Legacy, I have not fully beaten it yet, but I can agree with him. It's definitely made the game a little more challenging while also actually adding a whole bunch of stuff. Like for instance, the conflict between Team Aqua and Team Magma makes a lot more sense, and it doesn't just blatantly cut off at the end of the story with no consequences at all. As well as we get like a kind of completion for characters like Wally and the actual rival of the game as well as a whole bunch of post game content that I'm looking forward to getting to at some point, including a lot of gym rematches, which you get access to a few of those before the end of the game as well. But they start releasing their true potential on you after once you start getting into the post game, with 4 rematches total for each gym, as well as the Elite Four having a stronger version of themselves whenever you get done with all those gym rematches. So looking forward to finishing that game and really enjoy this ROM hack. Was happy that's even to this day, like, classic Pokemon games with a little bit of tweaking can make such an impact on my year and make me love them this much. So,
all right, my number 4 game is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, very fun game. I loved all the different biomes that you could go around to. I loved the travel mechanics of the little vehicles they give you. I loved the new Chocobo abilities. And obviously the visuals and party dynamics were great. I never played the original, so it's not from nostalgia.
All right, I guess that brings us to me. My number 4 this year is going to be yet another indie. We're looking at Balatro. I have not played as much of this game as some other people on the internet have, but what I have played has been an absolute blast. It's super easy to jump into. I was never a really big poker fan, so like diving into this game, it offers some really good systems and quick reference sheets for like how the different hands work, and it easily plays into its like roguelike gameplay style, and just crafts a really fun short experience that you can blitz through in, like I said, anywhere from 10 minutes to half an hour, depending on how good your run's going, and maybe even faster if you set up different settings. It just sounds great whenever you play a really good hand and like all the numbers start ticking up and multipliers start hitting. There's a really nice like jingle whenever you like points get cashed in. Really good UI feedback. Your score meter catches on fire if you're able to beat the entire ante in just one hand. It's great. This game is fun. It did not blow me away as much as like some other people said it did, but it is really, really enjoyable just for a quick burst of gameplay.
all right. Next is my number 4, which is something that I told y'all both to be quiet on because it ranked actually quite high on my list as I got pretty far into this game, and y'all might be surprised to find out that my number 4 is actually Palworld.
Dang, okay.
That tracks. That makes sense.
I mention them all the time. I game with them all the time. So again, me and my friend Nathan, we got on this game, and we actually joined a world with actually our editor invited us to, where I didn't know a lot of the people, so me and Nathan kind of went and made our own civilization for it. But we got pretty far into this game and like almost hit level cap, where we were able to actually like craft some of the cooler stuff. We were actually able to go do some of the dungeon raids and stuff like that, and actually like explore the full extent of the map and catch these super awesome looking pals that are totally not Pokemon. We found we had fun going through and being able to craft all the weapons, and like once you finally get to the point where you're able to make ammo for a gun that you found, the game changes, because it's no longer, oh, I'm just poking this pal with a stick while my other pal is attacking it. It becomes, okay, so I have these pals that are automatically out whenever I'm out that increase my damage, and now I go in with a pistol and I absolutely melt the boss. And it's a lot of fun. Plus, like the unique item system where every pal has a different thing that they can use. Most of them are like saddles for being able to ride like flying ones or ones on the ground to run faster. But some of them become weapons themselves. Like for instance, one of the very first one, Fox Sparks, becomes a flamethrower whenever you give it its special item, and you get to pull it out and blaze down enemies like a flamethrower, and it goes on a short cooldown. So
yeah, and if any of this sounds fun to you, check out an episode of the Joystick Frequency podcast we recorded earlier this year. We go into far more detail about all of that cool stuff. Go check it out. Like and subscribe.
All right.
Palworld is a blast. It is a great survival game. I just did not spend a ton of time on it.
Yeah, no. Y'all kind of covered. It's a fun, not Pokemon, fun little animal game. I love animal games.
All right, so we're starting off on the top three now. So Brady.
Let's shake up the order a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Who do you want to go first?
Trent.
All right. What's your number three?
All right, well, me and Walker are about to have some fighting words because it's Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree.
Okay.
Walker, what the fuck?
Let it be known, I fucking adored this DLC. Operative word, DLC. This DLC was phenomenal. This DLC was great. I spent about 40 hours in this DLC.
That's bigger than two of your games on your list. Probably three combined.
Look. It's not about size. It's about pettiness. And I think I'm just slightly too petty to allow it to be too high up.
You son of a bitch.
The boss fights in here are phenomenal. I think there are some of the most beautiful sections of the world in this game. Like the Cerulean Coast is one of my favorite places in video gaming, in general up until this point. So like the final boss, little bullshit, but other than that, I had a really, really, really good time with this DLC.
I knew whenever this game came out that I wasn't going to be able to play it all the way through fast enough because not only was I planning on playing it with a friend of mine, but also it comes at the peak of my work time in the summer where I'm like always working, so I don't have the time that I need. But so this was one of the first games that I liked this much that I actually watched people playing through for the first time and got to experience it that way. And it opened once I saw people playing through this game, and like the race to beat the final boss was incredible, as well as the amount of media of Shadow of the Erdtree that I've consumed this year is got to be nearing like probably 25% of my media consumption at this point, because my friend Walker also introduced me to a very cool concept called bingo brawlers, where they have these random objectives through the game that could range anywhere easy from killing a boss to collecting an item and upgrading it all the way, but it requires you to go through several different gate locks throughout the game to get to it. And so they started doing this for the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, and I've been watching every single episode of it. It would not surprise me if I knew where to find things better than Walker in the DLC, even though I'm not the one that hasn't completed it. But then again, that also depends. I'm not sure how much Bingo Brawlers he watches, but I watch a fuck ton, so...
No, you would have probably certainly stopped me. But that being said, I have been watching a ton of Bingo Brawlers as well, and it's good fun. I'm a big fan of randomizer content in general. It's a good way to prolong the life of a game. Go check out DK64 Randomizer. It's one of my favorite things ever.
Once I finally get through the game my first time and I'm able to just openly go play it as much as I can, I might just start trying to bingo brawl myself, because I love that concept, and I love the Souls game, so I'll go through that.
Brady, do you want to go next, or do you want me to jump in?
I'll let you decide. I decided last time.
Hey guys. Hey folks. How you doing? Resident Legend of Zelda fan here. Hey, did y'all know a Zelda game came out this year?
Oh, you mean a Link game, right?
No! A Legend of Zelda game. Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom came out. It's great. You can play as Zelda. It is a Pokemon game in disguise, because you go through, and after you finish the initial puzzle solving portion, turns out if you kill one of the monsters, you can capture an echo of it, and then you can summon X amount of those monsters based off how many fucking Zelda Doritos you have, and the Dorito price of the monster, and you can summon those guys and let them wreak havoc. It is so much fun. This is a game that encourages you to run around, break the world. They give you a trampoline almost instantly, which doubles your jump height, and you can explore into a bunch of different areas very quickly. You can instantly break the game order if that's something you want to do. It's just so fun. I love the art style that this game is in, and just the puzzles were a blast. The combat's really good. My one minor complaint is there's one grindy bit that is fully optional, but there's one grindy bit where you have to do dream quest stuff, and it's basically a series of challenges you can do. Some of them are a bit more bullshit than others. But outside that, I thought the story was fantastic. I think the art style is adorable, and you finally get a chance to play as Zelda, who kicks ass just as much. It's great. I loved it, and I'm excited to see what else they do going forward.
We gotta claim the IP for Zelda Doritos. You can't have this one Frito-Lay.
Brady, what you got for number 3?
You think you can compete with Frito-Lay?
That's his number 3.
It's Frito-Lay.
You think I'm dumb enough to put Frito-Lay anything below number 1? You're out of your mind. No, my number 3 is instead Space Marine 2.
Ooh, okay. I was curious how this would rank.
It is a fantastic game. Anybody that knows me, one of the first things you know about me is that I am a Warhammer 40k fan. It's after I introduce my name. Hi, I'm Brady. I'm a Warhammer 40k fan.
It's in his title.
It's in my title and all my professional emails. I think I put that before my name in some places, actually. Space Marine 2 scratches that itch visually in a way that I have not seen another game do ever. 40k as a medium is very visual, which is weird for something that is only really ever in game books. But the Gothic architecture, the vast swarms of alien creatures, the giant men in big metal armor next to tiny regular humans, it's a very video game visual setting. But the video games made about 40k have all been shit, visually shit. So you never really get to see it, which is one of my favorite things about Space Marine 2, is just getting to look at this wonderful world that I've been playing in some way or another for years. Another thing is that I get to blow up space bugs. I get to blow up swarms of space bugs with my gun that shoots exploding missiles, my sword that is also a chainsaw, and various explosives. I can keep talking about the game if you want, but I really shouldn't have to. Excessive blood and gore. It's incredible.
I've played enough Deep Rock Galactic with Brady to know he is really good at killing space bugs already. So the fact that this game has even more weapons of mass destruction than Deep Rock Galactic makes me know he is killing them by the hundreds of thousands.
I don't want to say genocide. I want to say xenocide. Because they're Xenos. Filthy, aberrant Xenos. And they need to be purged for the God Emperor.
Oh, jeez. We'll tell you what. Let's keep the order shuffled. I'll go into my number 2 here. My number 2 this year was, hey guys, guess what? Another indie game. Animal Well came out early on in this year, and I picked it up before I went on a big trip to Scotland, and it consumed that entire trip. Holy cow, this game kicks ass. I am all about Metroidvania-style games, especially ones that involve a fuckload of secrets and just adorable art styles and kind of moody atmospheres. So this wraps all of that into one phenomenal package that does not overstay its welcome, but allows just enough sense of discovery to just drive everything for more, like, deeper and deeper and deeper. There are whole fan communities dedicated to digging into further and further secrets in this game. I only got to the end of what is considered layer 2, and I think there is even further than that. I think there's at least 4 layers, if not more, but there's like crazy stuff that would involve you hooking the game up and setting up so that you can print a file off on a physical printer for an origami thing that you can fold up that would give you a code to something you need. Like, that's the level of bullshit we're talking about here, and it is fucking incredible. Animal Well kicks ass. Play the game if you haven't.
Wild. Wild that I have to own a printer.
The year of our Lord, 2024. Oh, fuck, it's 2025.
I'm sorry.
Time is
Brady,
inescapable.
I really think you should go next for number 2.
My number 2 is Astrobot.
Okay, thank God I'm not going to get flayed.
Yeah, no, number 2 is Astrobot.
We should hold off on that.
Yeah, I imagine we should.
Yeah, my number 2 is Astrobot, guys.
Hey guys, let's loop right back around.
Hey Walker, what's your number 1?
Hey, if you couldn't guess, it is Astrobot. Let's chat real briefly about this game. We've said it time and time again, I think over the last couple of podcasts. Astrobot's a fucking blast, guys. I don't think I played this game for any period of time where I did not have a smile on my face when doing so. And I think that in of itself speaks volumes to the game, the creativity it offers, and just the amount of care and love that went into making this feel like truly a video game TM. How did y'all feel?
I have just been, since you started talking, playing the menu music in my head, and I am smiling. It feels like going to the arcade as a kid, is what that game feels like. And it's hard to put into words, but it's an incredibly well-made, well-designed, well-directed platformer. The art direction is incredible. The level design is spectacular. The cameos are legendary. I don't know what else to say. It's a good game.
Yeah, they really hit it out of the park whenever it comes to just quality for this one. If you take away the fact that they're all PlayStation characters, and you're just collecting 300 of the regular bots, I still think this game makes our top 10 pretty easily.
I don't know that it would change my opinion of the game at all if it had no PS characters in it.
Well, you got to think if that were the case, then the level at the end of after the bosses would change slightly there.
You know what? A lot of the aesthetics of this game are tied up in the whole PlayStation.
Yeah, this is a PlayStation game through and through.
But just how well they were able to get this platformer. Last week I compared it to Mario Odyssey, which I haven't played, but I know is like the peak of 3D platforming here. And I think Astrobot deserves its space right next to it. And like these are the top 2 platformers of all time. At least 3D platformers, definitely.
Yeah, it wears its inspiration on its sleeve, but it does so in such a way that it really captures the feel of games like Mario Odyssey and any other 3D platformer. It's such a love letter to what it is representing, and that love makes me very happy. Now you two fight over who goes next for number 1.
Do you want to go now or last?
I made you go first so that I can make sure I wasn't getting flayed by having Astrobot at number 2. So I'll go first for this.
Okay.
Which still might get me flayed whenever y'all hear that. My number 1 is it's Destiny 2: The Final Shape.
Oh shit! Okay. Fuck.
Okay.
Don't know why I didn't realize that.
I was a Destiny 1 player. I've been playing this saga for 10 years, off and on. There were a couple years that I left, but I would always like come back and play a little bit and then leave again. But I always like was following along with like the story of it and everything. And Forsaken came out on Destiny 2, and it was one of my favorite DLCs ever, even though it's killed off my favorite character and really opened the door to it. But our characters kept getting stronger. We kept going through these ordeals, besting gods, and eventually finally coming to the enemy that started it all, that was responsible for the devastation of the Earth at the beginning of Destiny 1. And we were finally able to culminate and fight him and the Witness, and they made such a spectacle of it. They did such a good job at this DLC, not only having you finally go into the Traveler that's been there the entire time, and you're able to see this world that it makes up out of memories and emotions from not only you, but also everyone else inside of it. So you're getting all these warped walls and very diluted and weirdly like alternate dimensional like shapes and stuff like that from the Witness's side, while you're getting all the memories and the nostalgia from everything that you've done to get to this point for your characters in the Guardians. And whenever you finally get to the end of that campaign and you don't even you stop the Witness's plans, but you don't actually kill him, into the raid being opened up. And I watched that raid race and I saw it, and it took 19 hours, but once they finally did it, it opened a game-wide event where you could queue up and go in with 12 different people, which is the most people on a co-op thing they've ever done. Like normally PvP is 6v6. So the fact that you're able to go in with 12 people and absolutely mow down mobs and nuke these like mini bosses that show up, all just so that you can have a chance at hitting and just finally destroying the Witness. The person responsible for it all was such a really good like culmination of the 10-year saga of Light and Dark that we've been dealing with. And I think, like I talked about Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree earlier, how I knew I wasn't going to have time to play this. This came out not too long after Shadow of the Erdtree, and I made time to play it. I even if I was working, I stayed up way later than I should have playing this. I was making my work life hell just so I could play this expansion, because it actually like was such a reward for all those that have been loyal all this time and actually have come back to the game. So yeah, it's my number 1.
Nah.
I mean, when you really think about it, your number 1 game of the year really is Astrobot, isn't it?
Hey, don't harsh the man's
That
vibe.
was rude. You're absolutely right. I have, in speaking to you over the past few years, I know how much Destiny and the whole overarching story of it has really fascinated you. So I'm glad it had a nice little capstone.
It's always a big risk when something that big and means like so much comes to an end, but I'm so happy to see it stick the landing for you.
And I think this is the first time, at least in a while, but maybe the first time ever, like the Destiny: The Final Shape got nominated for some stuff at Game of the Year because like how good it was this time. Like Bungie has shit the bed several times with Destiny on expansions. This was a resounding success and actually is their highest rated one, beating Forsaken, the original one that was supposedly like the pinnacle of Destiny. So
You love to see a good last hurrah from a studio. Not to say that Bungie isn't doing other things, just
no,
for Destiny specifically.
they're capping off this story and they're starting another. Where I will say they haven't been as good as Final Shape, obviously, but they're starting new. They're starting new. Well, not 100% starting new, but they're starting with. You have to go somewhere from it, so.
Yeah. Right. Well, I guess that leaves me.
Mm-hmm. Game of the year, last
my
one.
number one game of the year is Metaphor Refantasio.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's so if you've played, it's the same people that made Persona, and that is obvious if you play the game. It plays very similar to Persona, but instead of being like a school kid, you are the friend of the Prince of the Kingdom. The prince was put into a sleep, and the king has died. And instead of passing down the crown, he used his special royal magic to say, "Hey, democracy." And magic is going to say whoever the people trust the most is going to be king. Um, so you go around and group a band of people to basically get support for the prince. Because the person who is leading the race, there's a priest who's kind of a corrupt priesty, fantasy priest, and a Dickel might makes right dude, like very military, kind of new order, a little fashy, a little,
Just a touch.
just a touch, like he. Very, I will come and save you. New Order, not from Star Wars, not the Empire, the new ones, the new
First Order?
First Order, very First Order vibes.
Gotcha.
Except like written logically, he believes in the strong should survive and the weak perish.
Standard fashy stuff.
Standard stuff. But it's a very like. There's a lot of complex, deep story. There's a lot of character arcs. One of my favorite characters is like a little miniature bat guy. Like there aren't humans mostly in this world. There's like different races. Like there's the Clamar, which are humans but they have little horns. And then there's another race which is humans but they're old. Then humans but they have a third eye. Humans but they're shorter and have bat wings and bat ears. Humans, but there's like 7 different species of humans that are just slightly different humans. But one of those is a little bat dude who's also a ninja.
Oh.
Who's like he has this whole story about how his son passed away and how he fights in the name of his son, but he also needs to let his son go and let him rest. But it's also dealing with like he left his hometown and does he want to let his son rest where he came from, or it's like this whole incredibly touching family story, and that's just one part of one character's story. There's tons of that all over the game. Also, the combat's incredible. The aesthetics are fun, and I have a ship that flies and walks on land. Great game. Number 1 game of the year.
Damn. Okay.
All right. Well, before we discuss our cumulative top 5, only because it was pitched and that was the idea I was going in with originally.
I'm sorry, I've messed things up at the very
you're
end.
fine, and we'll clarify. Like we will be doing this next year because I agreed with you. I thought it was a good idea. We each have a top 10 of games we played this year, so it could include games that didn't come out this year. That is our top 10. I think instead of going round robin through each of them, I think we can just like start at number one of us will start and go to their complete list, and then the next person, then the next person, then we'll go into the cumulative discussion. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, Walker, how about you go first then?
From the bottom up, here is my list: Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Another Crab's Treasure, Crow Country, The Resident Evil 4 remake actually slides in here. I really enjoyed my time with it. I hadn't played any Resident Evils up until this point, and this was a great way to be introduced to the series. We have Balatro, then Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. At number 4, we have Bloodborne, another game that I've just been playing through recently, and I really have been loving the aesthetics and everything of it. Just above that, we have Shadow of the Erd Tree at number 3. 2, we have Animal Well, and 1 is still Astrobot.
Wait, what was that one you had at number 3?
Oh, you heard me. Moving on.
You son of a bitch.
All right. I'll go next. 10th place, Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. 9th place, Harry Potter, Quidditch Champions. 8th place, Pokemon, Emerald Legacy. 7th place, Star Wars Outlaws. 6th place, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. 5th place, Total War Pharaoh, Dynasties. 4th place, Cyberpunk / Phantom Liberty. 3rd place, Astrobot. 2nd place, Metaphor ReFantazio. 1st place, Rogue Trader.
No way. He said it last week, honestly.
I said it.
He did say it.
I said it.
I'm really happy that you gave Pokemon Emerald Legacy some love as well, though. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
The only reason it wasn't in my other top 10 is because I didn't think it would count as a game that came out this year.
Yeah, I like whenever my friends take my recommendations and then actually like really enjoy them. So it makes me feel
I've
good
even watched a
that
few
we've
Smith
had
Plays Pokemon's videos after.
That's awesome. All right, going into my number 10. I'm starting off the list with just sending y'all an image real quick, which makes me happy and makes me okay with putting a gacha game at my number 10.
Oh, Jesus. Let's see.
It's not that, but that's the same company that made the game.
Okay.
Shift Up. They so for those of you who can't see the image, Shift Up Stellar Blade devs, they celebrate the game's success by giving all staff a PS5 Pro and a $34 $100 bonus. So my game is Nikke, Goddess of Victory, which is also made by Shift Up. It's a really nice gacha game. I came for the way I phrased it to my friend earlier today. I came for the waifus originally, and I stayed for the trauma support.
Jeez.
The game can get depressing as hell, but you're helping these Nikkes through the trauma, and so it has some very heartwarming stuff. And I've fallen in love with the story at this point, and that's what keeps me coming back. Number 9, which is actually the y'all's list, y'all dropped your number your 7 was like your number 10 at some point or something like that. Mine is actually my number. Oh no, never mind. It is my number 7. My bad. Scratch. So it's Marvel Rivals.
Nice.
And then my number 8 is Pokemon Pocket. Number 7 is Pokemon Emerald Legacy. My number 6 here is actually Dredge. Yeah, I fucking love that game. The Eldritch Horror sea game, fishing all these weird looking fish out and then hoping that the shadowfish doesn't come and eat your ship and break everything instantly. A lot of fun. Number 5, Cyberpunk 2077. The only reason this is ranked this low, I think, is because I have not finished it yet. I think it might end up getting higher at some point. Number 4 is Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree.
Nice.
Number 3 is Astrobot.
Oh, okay.
Number 2 is Neon White.
Okay, I knew it was going to sneak on here somewhere. I just didn't know where.
Yeah, super fun speedrunning platformer game. I didn't factor in whenever I was saying that Astrobot has to be one of the best 3D platformers ever made. Neon White's a fucking 3D platformer, only from a first-person perspective. So I mean, I guess this is just the year of 3D platformers for me. Watch out next year. I'm playing Mario Odyssey.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, really love that game and really love the system behind how you traverse the levels with each card having a different weapon that you can either choose to shoot or discard it to have a certain a different effect. Like a sniper rifle has a super long dash that you can use if you discard it. And then my number 1 being Destiny, the Final Shape.
Hell yeah.
All right, so the great part about this is I'm pretty sure our number one is pretty fucking easy, guys.
Yeah, that's certain.
Well, are we saying it?
Wait. So
how do we do this?
We can say it if we want now, and we'll do the actual countdown and congratulations at the end. But
Okay.
You tell me whether or not this makes sense to you guys. So I have Astrobot written down, and then the other four that I have for consideration, I have Metaphor Refantasio, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Animal Well, and Destiny 2. And like I said, this is a discussion.
So I would, if you look in the podcast doc, I have the same 5 written down, but instead of Animal Well, I wrote Palworld because it's the only other one that showed up on all of our lists.
I would be okay with that.
I don't know if we want to...
I would be okay with dropping out Animal Well.
Okay.
Or maybe even having it share the 5th place with Palworld.
With Palworld? I'd be okay with a joint between Palworld and Animal World.
And I think I'm okay with these two being here because of how highly y'all loved them. And then
I feel like
top two makes
the number
sense.
ones had to be on there, but the fact that Elden Ring was loved by 2 people, I think makes it number 2.
I would agree.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for once in joystick frequency history, we all agree like on the first thing immediately.
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait for the game Palworld Animal Well to come out.
Yeah, I know.
Man, it's gonna be fun.
Okay. Well then, without further ado,
all right, guys. So we're doing a little bit of a split on number 5. We couldn't quite chop 2. So in joint place, we have Animal Well.
And Palworld.
At number 4, we have Destiny: The Final Shape coming in.
In 3rd place for the bronze medal from the joystick frequency is Metaphor Refantasio.
Coming in at number 2, it's for the second year in a row, I think it's Elden Ring, but this one's actually labeled Shadow of the Erdtree.
And at number 1, surprising literally no one who's listened to any of the podcasts we've talked about up to this point, we're looking at Astrobot taking home the gold this year.
Congratulations, Astrobot.
Round of applause.
You reach the echelon that Tunic and what was our game of the year last year?
Outer Wilds.
What was our actual game of the year last year?
What was our Baldur's Gate?
Baldur's Gate.
Oh yeah,
obviously. Oh, that's the 4th one that has our seal of approval, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know if that one captured y'all as much as it caught me.
Well, I mean, one of us hasn't beaten it.
No shit.
Well,
I'm sorry.
We can't give it a seal of approval until we beat it, so...
Nope, we certainly can't.
Yeah,
so we
it's
still
fine.
only
It
have
still
3.
earns it.
Which sucks, because it means Elden Ring's never going to get the seal of approval.
No, it won't.
No.
Never. Not if I have to play it.
What if I beat it on your profile? Is it technically...
Here's what we can do, Trent. I will come sit in your lap. You put your hands over mine, and then you press my fingers to press the buttons.
You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that, and then back out later whenever we're off air.
I need to film it. Just for me. It won't go online.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us here at the Joystick Frequency. That is our game of the year. Hope to see you more this year in 2025, where hopefully we get even more amazing games like these. And
Got a
we'll
lot
see
of
you
good
next
stuff coming
time.
up.
Thank you once again, guys. Y'all have a fantastic evening, day, morning, whenever you're listening to this. Go ahead and say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye,
guys.
Thank y'all once again, and we'll catch you on the next wavelength.
So long.